voices blending, melodies ascending, harmony in the air. Our songs are never ending. In the barbershop we create magic. Brad and John show, yeah, it's pure classic. No instruments needed, just our vocal range. Notes flying high, it's our musical exchange. Tracy's station may try, but they can't compete. Our barbershop style, it can't be beat. Oh, the harmony of voices, so sweet. In the barbershop of life, our tunes will repeat. No need for instruments, no need for a band. Just the Brad and John show, the finest in the land.
John, you know why we got the Barbershop boys in this morning?
Is that because it is Thursday?
No, try again.
Is it because it's Monday?
No, try one more time.
I know, Brad, because it's our second to last summer Friday until them little chitlins go back to school.
Nah, we've got another 6 weeks of summer, so that's not it, John. I mean, I know kids go back to school early, but no, it's because it's Friday, John.
There we go, Brad.
And then, you know what else happens on Friday? Do you know what else happens on Friday, John?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to cue them. Bring them in, Brad. There's a group of singers that celebrate every Friday.
Yes, the Polka Boys. They're here.
Time for the John Combest Top 3.
Every single day of his life for the past 23 years, John Combest puts together this incredible list of all these important stories you should know about in the state of Missouri. It's called the johncombest.com website. And it's done in a special version, a special HTML version of, what's the HTML version, John?
0.0.
Nothing flashing, nothing flashy. Matter of fact, there's no flash because nobody has flash anymore. There's no fancy graphics. There's no videos. There's no pop-ups. It's just John Combest's all the things he thinks are important for you to know. Now, even more important, on this very morning, every single morning we're on the air, we start the show off with this guy right here.
I'm Casey Kasem.
And he counts down the top three that John picks out that he thinks are the most important three stories. And we start off with,
in third place,
a story involving a local Missouri state senator named Brian Williams. He's term limited out of his seat in the state Senate. So you know what that means, Brad. The headline from Kelsey Landis of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch: Democratic State Senator Brian Williams joins race for St. Louis County Executive.
Really?
Brian Williams of University City, Brad, will be challenging whoever else happens to run in the Democrat primary for St. Louis County Executive. Now, of course, Brad, the current county executive, Sam Page, well, we could presume, I guess, in theory, he might be running for re-election. But do you really think Sam Page is going to run for re-election, Brad?
yes, I do.
Do you really?
Yes, I think he's one of those guys that he just doesn't get it. In other words, he's going like, what's remember, did you ever read a Mad magazine? Were you a Mad magazine guy?
Yeah, I love Mad and Cracked. Yeah, so you're saying, let me guess, Brad, I don't mean to step on your punchline here, but is he saying what? Me worry?
Yes, exactly. That was the Alfred E. Neuman line. What me worry? You got it exactly.
Now, Brad, but here's what I think. So I completely see your point here. But if you recall, a little more than a year ago, Joe Biden was still running for re-election. And people eventually, some would say the deep state, went to Joe Biden and said, hey, Sleepy Joe, your time is done. We got someone else to fill your spot. Now, they were able to just very easily move Kamala Harris into that spot. But, Brad, I disagree with you. And I think that Sam Page will not run for re-election. And if you believe there's some sort of deep state and county government that happens to profit off the current administration, I would make the suggestion that that group of folks has probably already started to identify who will take Sam's spot as being their team's candidate in 2026. And I don't think it'll be Sam Page. I think Sam has probably seen and done enough and will be happy to get through this case, get a slap on the wrist after the indictment, go about his life, and enjoy his money and his attractive wife.
And there is no term limits in the county exec position, is there? I mean, because this would be his third
and the
term.
mere suggestion, Brad, just turned Buzz Westfall to turn over in his grave. H.C. Milford just had a conniption fit too.
John, you mentioned Buzz Westfall, and people don't remember who he might have been. He was the county executive. Wasn't he a Republican? Wasn't he like the last Republican to be a county executive?
He was not.
He was a Democrat. Okay. When you drive 364 in and out of St. Charles County and back and forth in St. Louis County, it's the Buzz Westfall Memorial Expressway. Do you know that? Did you know that? There's signs out there.
I did know that. Yeah, and to answer your allusion earlier, Brad, the last Republican St. Louis County executive was a gentleman named Gene McNary.
That's right, Gene McNary. Can I tell you, John, there's two things here. First off, remind me in C-section. I'm going to do this. C-section sounds like something.
Yeah, I've seen a C-section, Brad. They're not pretty.
C-section, bridges. Okay, I'm going to write this down. So we talked about this.
Okay.
Bridges and overpasses. Okay. I used to work out. It's gone. They tore it down. But the old Vic Tanny's Health Club there in Clayton, which sat on the
right there at Highway 170. Yeah, the old Vic Tanny, which became a Bally's.
No, it was right on the Forest Park Expressway. It was right next to.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, let's nitpick the exact location.
Well,
yeah, it's right there at Forest Park Parkway and near 170.
John,
correct.
It was like a mile from 170, but that's a whole nother
Okay,
story.
there we go, Brad. There's 7 minutes left in the segment. Go ahead. Get to your Vic Tanny story.
He used to work out there, and when I used to go during the day, I used to work out during the day. I used to work out 7 days a week, believe it or not, if you can believe that. And he was always there with this super attractive woman that supposedly...
Gene McNary or Buzz Westfall?
No, Gene McNary. And she was
I could believe that.
She was like 20 years younger than him, and everybody would always. That was the talk of the place. People goes, some people. Well, I know who she is. Supposedly they worked together. She was like an assistant or something like that. And I'm telling you, they worked out together. They walked the track. They ran the track together. They were like, and they were not married. It was always very interesting, John. Very interesting.
Well, thank you, Brad. I was wondering if this week we'd get to a Vic Tanny story, and we finally did on Friday.
Time for number 2.
Up a notch to number 2.
It's the talk of the state of Missouri, and we have to bring it up again, Brad. Redistricting, congressional redistricting. You might have thought we were done in 2022 when the topic was debated by the state legislature, but you'd be wrong. As you know, Brad, Donald Trump has been leaning on Republican states to redraw districts, to build the Republican majority. Missouri is no different. Several stories up today. One of them is from Kason Bayless, who is a good reporter at the Kansas City Star, and a number of other pieces that we have up today about whether or not Missouri will call a special session this fall to do redistricting. And Brad, I have to tell you, my position on this of what I think is going to happen has changed. Because I didn't think until very recently that there would even be a chance that Governor Kehoe would call a special session, concurrent with the veto session that happens in September every year. But I think I think there's a good chance Kehoe will actually call a special session and that Missouri Republicans will do it.
So... but it would be the whole state, or they just kind of rejigger the western part with district that's in Kansas City. What was that? We talked about that recently.
You bring up a great question, Brad. So that's the question, and I have to tell you, Brad. I think very few people are talking about this. I have to tell you why. My main problem with doing this, besides the fact that we've already settled this years ago, and I don't think we need to set the precedent of redrawing districts more than once a decade. Here's the problem I have with it, Brad. You bring up a great point, which is we say that we're just going to redraw, we as Republicans say that we're just going to redraw the Kansas City district. In other words, we would make Emanuel Cleaver, the Democrat incumbent, has been in office since 2005. We would make his district competitive. But the way math works, Brad, if we take Democrats out of his district and put them other places, that makes other districts more competitive. And I don't know why we as Republicans want to make our other districts, our safe Republican districts, more competitive. I just question the logic of if in a bad year, like someone who shall remain nameless, I had a conversation with them yesterday, and we were talking about 2006 was a terrible year for Republicans. Those happen once in a while, Brad. And do we want to make some of our congressional incumbents more vulnerable just to get an additional congressional seat? Now, plenty of my Republican compadres would say that's a good deal. Let's take an additional Republican seat and then make our incumbents work a little bit harder. But Brad, I question the wisdom of making some other districts more competitive for Democrats. I just don't like it, Brad.
You know, the interesting thing about this was, did you by any chance see the video? I know you don't watch the show, but the Stephen Colbert show the other night when he had J.B. Pritzker on. Did you say that by any chance?
I did not, no.
Well, J.B. Pritzker was on there talking about various things. The more important thing was all the Texas legislators, the Democrats, who have essentially flocked to Chicago to get away from their duties in Texas. And Stephen Colbert, and the reason it got my attention was Stephen Colbert actually put up a graphic, not a graphic, he actually had a printed page. He put it up and the camera shot it. And you and I just talked about this, last week or the week before, about how the crazy gerrymandered district in Illinois is. Remember we talked about this because of Randy Raley?
Yeah, of course. That's the Mary Miller and Randy Raley district.
Right, which is bizarre because it's got this crazy dagger finger that goes down from like Champaign-Urbana, which goes down like a slash mark, which goes all the way down into the Metro East. And the rest of that district, the one that Mary Miller and Randy Raley is running against, is like this great big monstrous horseshoe. And it's like, okay, is that and he asked J.B. Pritzker about it, and he, things are great. We've got a great map of. I'm going like, okay, dude,
You know, Brad, it's just one finger. And the subject to story number one is used to dealing with just one finger. Let's get to story number one with 1 minute left.
The number one
headline from the Kansas City Star. Harrison Butker's PAC is low on cash, but so far, none has gone to candidates. You and I on the show 10 months ago, that would be last October, discussed the fact that Harrison Butker, pals with Josh Hawley, was creating his own political action committee. Brad, that day on that show, I said I was ecstatic about the story because what I really wanted to see was where that money would end up going. I put forth the ridiculous notion, Brad, that probably the only people that would benefit from this PAC would be consultants and fundraisers, a little grift going on. And I suggested that somebody probably went to Harrison Butker and said, hey, pal, this is a great idea. We'll use your name and, we'll make a little money from it. Believe it or not, Brad, Harrison Butker's PAC has not contributed to candidates, but some folks have made some money by doing fundraising. Are you as shocked by that as I am, Brad?
The whole thing is bizarre. John, you and I talk about this all the time. The political thing with fundraising, to me, it's like a scam. You know what I'm saying? It's a scam.
I think there are folks that give money to candidates, and that money helps get candidates elected. And I think that's a great thing. And then I think there's a lot of money that's given to candidates that's a complete scam, Brad. I think you're right on some of it. No. I know we're just about at time. I want to read a quote here from the Missouri Democratic Party's Chelsea Rodriguez. You'll love this quote, Brad. She says, quote, "It's the latest of many grift operations to pop up that have been plaguing politics on both sides of the aisle in recent election cycles." She goes on to say, "These groups are unaccountable to transparency, overpromise and underdeliver, and leave working campaigns scrambling for resources." Brad, this is exactly what happens when people go to let's call them a celebrity, whatever you consider a celebrity, and say, boy, do we have an idea for you. You should sign up for this cryptocurrency. We'll put your name on it, Hawk 2 girl. You should sign up for a PAC. We'll put your name on it, Harrison Butker. Don't worry about the details. We'll take care of all that. You just go about kicking a football or being the hawk to a girl, and we'll handle the money for you. It's pretty silly, Brad. Now, I know we're over time, but I just got to say, here's who I blame for this. I think Josh Hawley is partially responsible because I think Josh Hawley should have gone to Harrison Butker when they had rallies together last year and said, hey, Harrison, I know you're going to do this PAC thing. I know you mentioned it. You should use my guy, or you should go to my people and have them vet whatever plans you have. Now, Brad, for all I know, Josh Hawley and his team did go to Harrison Butker and maybe offered Mr. Butker the opportunity to vet some of these folks or vet this process. And Harrison Butker just said, don't worry about it. I got a guy. I got it taken care of. But I think if you're pals with Harrison Butker and you're as smart as Josh Hawley is, you owe it to your friend to say, look, let us kick the tires of whatever PAC idea you have just to make sure it's on the up and up, or just to make sure that your guy is doing the right thing. And I think in the end, Brad, because Hawley was so closely tied to Butker last year, I think it just doesn't look good for Josh. And I think Josh and his team, if they didn't make a concerted effort to help Harrison Butker, they should have.
I've heard, I can't remember what I was listening to the other day, and they were talking about the scams that go on with this kind of stuff, and particularly with like the PACs and things like that, and how they're getting money that they shouldn't get in, especially offshore money. And the example was given that one of the organizations buys houses, and they'll buy them at like market value. And let's say the house is like $200,000 or $300,000 house. They'll buy the house and essentially say, we're buying it for one of our people to live in. And then they'll turn around and sell it for like $4 million. And
wait, for political candidates?
No, these are PACs. These are like PACs that are doing this.
Okay, but political action committees.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the idea being is that, wow, what a great real estate investment we made. We bought it for $300,000. We sold it for $4 million. And the idea being is, and they claim this is happening all over the country, and this is a way essentially for some of these essentially non-citizens, people from other countries who are trying to influence the elections, to essentially launder money, is they're not paying money directly to the organization. They're just buying real estate.
So you're saying that these foreign folks would overpay as a way to give money to their political PAC of choice. They would overpay for a house, and that's essentially giving a contribution to a political group.
Well, but they're not, in the respect that they're just buying a piece of real estate. I mean, yeah,
but the principle is they're overpaying.
Oh
for
yeah,
it, right?
yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, don't get me going about this. I have a whole theory of real estate that anytime I get with a real estate agent, they look at me and they go like, "Okay, I think it's time for me to leave," because
yeah, I'm sure you push back too much. I can't see anything good coming from a political group attempting to insert themselves into a real estate deal. Like, talk about the opportunity for bad decisions and grift and a whole lot of misappropriation of funds. It sounds like I can't imagine a political group wanting to buy real estate in 2025.
Let me see if I can find the article, because it was referred to someplace. They referred to this and they said that there's been several newspaper articles written about this, and I'll see if I can find it. Okay, but you know what's coming up next, John?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It is, but first we have these messages from some of our very good sponsors.